Hello everyone, and welcome to the Missouri School Boards Association's board report for the month of July. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with a look at the movement to raise academic standards for our students. It's imperative for our economic survival that academic standards be raised, according to Sue Gendron, a senior fellow at the International Center for Leadership in Education. She was a keynote speaker at MSBA's recent Leadership Summit. Gendron believes high standards, such as the Common Core state standards, set the high expectations we need for students without dictating what is taught or how it is taught in our schools. She says the resistance to the Common Core standards is the result of misunderstanding.
There's a sense that this is a national curriculum. It's not. It defines expectations. It's still the local school district's responsibility to define how it gets taught, what gets used for resources. Those are still local decisions. And there's this perception that Common Core is mandating the how and the what. That is not the case.
Most school districts in the state are well on their way toward implementing the Common Core state standards. However, the Missouri General Assembly passed a bill this year that establishes committees that will write new Missouri standards for English, math, science, and history. Those standards may include the Common Core state standards. Gendron says that's fine, provided the new state standards are rigorous.
And so my caution is that whatever process, how are you going to ensure that you maintain high expectations, that you build on foundations, and it builds in a way that there's clarity, there's rigor in the standards so that teachers and students know explicitly what it is they have to be able to demonstrate.
More than 200 school board members and superintendents attended the MSBA Leadership Summit held June 6th and 7th at the Lake of the Ozarks. Doug Whitehead, a school board member from the Jefferson City Public Schools, is the new president of the Missouri School Boards Association. He became president at the conclusion of the Leadership Summit. In remarks at that event, Whitehead urged school board members to share the good news about Missouri's public schools.
We must tell our positive stories to everyone now and continually. If they resist, and they will, stand firm in convincing them that education, as Dr. Ward said, is the foundation of our democracy and of vital importance to our community's economic vitality.
Whitehead says one of his goals is to engage more members through the implementation of MSBA's new governance structure. New MSBA state officers elected at the Delegate Assembly meeting on June 6th were President-elect Mona Coleman, a school board member from the Bolivar School District, and Vice President Larry Felton, a school board member from the Melville School District. Missouri's public schools are unlikely to see any significant increase in state funding for the current fiscal year unless the General Assembly sustains Governor Nixon's vetoes of a series of tax break bills. Those bills were passed in the final hours of the legislative session back in May. The budget approved by the legislature includes a $115 million increase in the foundation formula and a $15 million increase in school transportation funding. But the governor has announced a series of vetoes and budget restrictions he says are necessary to balance the budget, since those tax breaks will result in a significant loss of state revenue. MSBA and the Coalition for Missouri's Future will be working this summer to urge the General Assembly not to override the vetoes of the tax breaks that threaten state funding for our schools. Beyond a reduction in general revenue available to fund our schools, another effect of the sales tax breaks would be to reduce the revenue collected under Proposition C, the 1-cent sales tax dedicated to education. The State Budget Office estimates Proposition C funding will be reduced by about $94 million should the tax breaks be implemented. That amounts to a cut of about $105 per student. Since Proposition C money is distributed on a per-pupil basis and is not run through the foundation formula, the cut will have an impact on every school district in the state. The legislature's veto session will be held in September. Dr. Carter Ward has been the executive director of the Missouri School Boards Association since 1983. and he has announced he is retiring from that position a year from now. In his letter to the MSBA Executive Committee announcing his retirement, Dr. Ward said, "I have been blessed to have met and worked with so many outstanding individuals who unselfishly gave of their time, energy, and even personal resources to serve gratuitously in the top elected position a person can hold, school board member. There is not an elected position that has a greater immediate and long-term impact on both individuals and families as being part of a local school board." During his tenure as executive director, Dr. Ward has overseen the growth of MSBA from a two-person staff located on the University of Missouri campus to today's organization that provides a wide array of programs and services designed to support local school boards in their role as education leaders in their communities. Registration for the 2014 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators is now open. This year's event is scheduled for September 25th through 28th at the Lake of the Ozarks. We'll have another outstanding lineup of keynote speakers and more than 80 breakout sessions, all designed to improve the leadership skills of school board members and administrators. You can register for the annual conference on the MSBA website. MSBA Center for Education Safety once again is sponsoring the annual Safe Schools and Colleges Conference, September 23rd through the 25th, just prior to this year's annual conference. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and so long from Columbia.